The following podcast is brought to you by the Geeks 2 Network, and all opinions are those of the hosts. Listener discretion is advised. It's time to talk wrestling. This is the Dave Dynasty Show.
And welcome to the Dave Dynasty Show. I am your host, Dave Dynasty, joined as always by my trained monkey, Ike Isaacs.
You didn't train me to anything. I literally have no job training.
That's true. That's evident too by your performance.
That is a failure on your part.
You're going to do horrible. You're going to do horrible on your work review.
What work review?
It's coming.
I don't get paid. What do I get reviewed for?
Because you suck.
But I don't get money for this.
That's because you're not worth money.
Anyways.
Right. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for supporting us however you do, whether you...
See, that is yawn. That's how boring you are.
Check us out on iTunes. I'm just going to ignore you. Check us out on iTunes and you subscribe. Please rate and review us on there. It helps us in the charts. If you listen to us on SoundCloud, please follow and like. And if you follow us on YouTube, please subscribe and like and share us. And if you need any of our links to social media, you can get those at www.davedynasty.com. That's right. My name's in the website because I'm the important one, Isaac.
No, I don't know if you're the important one.
My name's on the show.
Well, just because, people saying your name's on a show doesn't mean nothing.
I don't see that there's an Ike Isaacs show out there anywhere.
Well, maybe not, but...
Because nobody would listen.
I think
I'm sure that all forms of hosting would reject that show.
Okay, but in Full House, there's nobody's name in the show, but we all know that the best character is Uncle Jesse.
What's Full House have to do with anything?
I mean, your show is called Dave Dynasty Show. That show is called Full House. Everybody thought Bob Saget or the twins were the lead characters, but no, I'm Uncle Jesse and I'm the lead character.
Yeah. Okay. So we have a special show for you. We're going to drive past the bullshit that Ike's piling on and keep on plugging away because...
Did you just say shit on this podcast?
It's not the first time. Probably won't be the last.
Fair enough.
There's only a handful of words I refrain from saying, even though you test my patience on all of them.
I like to push boundaries. That's what I do.
Yes. Okay. Anyway, we have a very special interview today on this episode with CMLL luchador Johnny Idol. Plus, we're going to do a little bit where Isaac and I are going to discuss the Ted Petty Invitational Tournament.
Fantastic.
That we we attended. Unfortunately, I had to spend more time with him. But we're going to begin with wrestling headlines. This is where the trained monkey gets to read the cues.
The cues. All right. So the first one. WWE planning on a women's tournament, much like the Cruiserweight Classic for 2017. Now, I want to say this is the first time I heard about that. So explain this to me.
They're talking, isn't it self-explanatory?
It is, but who's going to be in it? Do they say anything
They
yet?
haven't done that yet.
Okay.
It's not that far yet. But...
we're still in the brainstorming stage.
Well, but I guess apparently it is to the scheduling stage where it's going to happen. They've actually said there was we're thinking of it, now we're going to do it. And it's supposed to be early 2017. This thing could be spectacular as long as they book the right people, because there are some phenomenal female talent out there. And I think you're going to see the likes of Candice LeRae, Heidi Lovelace, some of these folks on there, including some of the, probably some of the talent they have. I don't know how they're going to pull from what they have, if they're going to pull off the main rosters or if it'll just be NXT. I don't know how they're going to do all that.
Well, I'm curious because you said it's supposed to be much like the Cruiserweight Classic. My thing would be is because you looked at the Cruiserweight Classic and you had people like Zachary Sabre Jr. who wasn't signed or any of them were signed.
Same concept that they're going to have people that's not signed.
So then we could see people like Heidi Lovelace. Lovelace, sorry.
You don't have to enunciate her name so much.
Sorry, I my bad. But
yes,
like
you can see talent like that,
and
and sometimes though that does result in signings because they see how well they do. And
what was the lady's name that I cannot remember her name. Kelly
Klein.
Yeah, Kelly Klein. My God,
she's got I think a ring on her.
I thought she was signed with a ring on her.
Yeah, that's
okay.
I doubt I don't know, but
if your
I
boyfriend's
don't think she'll
BJ
go.
Whitmer, I think you pretty much gotta stay.
Yeah, we don't talk about personal business.
I'm just saying.
That's not.
There
That's
are
not
no
why
boundaries.
she's there.
I'm not saying that's the reason she's there. I'm saying that's might be part of the reason she wouldn't hop ship to go to WWE. I would say. I mean, like, what if your significant other was on like a very prominent position in a wrestling business? You wouldn't just hop ship, would you? I'm just saying.
I don't even know how we got onto this.
Because I just said BJ Whitmer. Speaking of BJ Whitmer, he won a TPI tournament one time.
Yes, we're not to that segment.
Oh,
yet.
that's right. That's later
We're
on.
trying to hijack,
I'm sorry.
hijack with your shenanigans.
The whole thing here, I forgot that I was the
You
train
totally unraveled this headline. Let's just move
You
on to
did.
the next question.
Big
Or
weekend.
headline.
Shush.
Oh yeah, this
The-
is your
the
big
train
moment.
monkey
You get
speaks.
to read the cue. This is your shining moment.
The big weekend for indie wrestling events.
Yeah. So I mean,
Other than TPI.
well, there was TPI. There was AIW did a big tag tournament that was apparently pretty good. Ring of Honor had 2 shows. The Survival of the Fittest. AAW had a big show with Matt Hardy. So there were lots of good shows this weekend. I'm sure I'm missing some, and I forgive me for that. But those are some of the highlights, and it just seems to me it just further proclaims how strong independent wrestling is right now, and how every weekend we're having these great events. And another reason why everybody should get out there and see an indie show. There's no excuse for it. No excuse. So yeah, I just wanted to. That's why I like this headline, because I just thought I wanted to make note that, you know what, there's a lot of good shows, but that's not really a new thing. There were just some big events that, you know, like the tournaments and stuff. With
Yeah.
Survival of the Fittest and things like that. And again, Ring of Honor is not exactly independent per se, but still. So anyway,
Independent this compared to like WWE.
yes. So just get out there, see these shows. They're great. They're there every weekend around. Go see them.
I second that.
What's our final?
WWE to begin live cruiserweight show. It says 205
205 Live. That's the name of the show.
205 Live. Okay, I was gonna make sure. I didn't know if you messed up
Yeah,
spelling or something.
No, of course not. How can you misspell
Oh yeah,
205?
the flawless Dave Dynasty. The Dynasty. Doug
You call me
Dynasty.
flawless, you're the one mispronouncing the name.
I didn't want to.
Lovelace.
Look, I like to pronounce my words because I'm not illiterate. Unlike some people on the show.
You shouldn't talk about Mance Warner like that.
How did you know I was talking about Mance Warner?
Because there's 3 of us on this show regularly, and I know you're not talking about me.
You know, that was one of the few times I was not insulting Dave Dynasty. There you go, Mance
Because you
Warner.
can't.
Continue with your 205 Live Cruiserweight talk.
So yeah, they're doing a cruiserweight show called 205 Live. I think it's gonna be. I actually think it's live on the network after SmackDown.
Okay.
They'll just have it. I'm assuming at the SmackDown location. Either that or full. I don't know how. No. It'll be at the SmackDown location because apparently some talents are unhappy that they have to be there an hour later now. But whatever.
Yeah.
This is gonna be good because the cruiserweights are fun. Their matches are great, but I feel like they get lost in the shuffle on Raw.
Definitely.
Because there's only so many guys there. There's so much time, so you don't get to see a lot of variety, and as many guys as that I would like to see. So it would be good to see a show, and with the added show, it just opens up the possibilities for more guys to get some TV time and some air time. I'm excited.
I agree. And didn't someone just win the Cruiserweight title?
Yeah, Brian Kendrick,
Right on.
Spanky.
Cool. Yeah. That's a little throw in there.
He'll always be Spanky to me. So
All right.
is that
I think
the end of our wrestling headlines?
that is the end of our wrestling headlines.
Thank goodness, because you make it difficult.
I make it difficult. I make it interesting.
No, it's not interesting.
You know why they keep coming back and listening to your podcast, right?
Because I tell it like it is about you.
Me. No, I don't know about that.
You're right, because if they hear you, they feel better about their lives. You know what? My problems aren't so bad. Look at this guy.
Or,
There's no or. Don't try to overthink it. You'll hurt yourself.
hey, look. I'm very smart, and if I had not just woken up from a nap, I would probably be able to insult you better right now.
Oh, for shame.
So I'm just going to fall back to my jokes about Dance Warner and liking light beer. His new thing should be illiteracy, lariats, and light beer. Oh, my God. I'm making a poster. I'm making T-shirts.
We're going to take a break. Oh, my goodness. And when we come back, I will have my interview with CMLL luchador Johnny Idol. Stick around.
Visit luchamaskusa.com for official high-quality lucha masks and merchandise, straight from the luchadors themselves. They have a huge and always growing inventory, so check back often. That's luchamaskusa.com.
All right, and welcome back to the Dave Dynasty Show. I am now being joined by CMLL luchador Johnny Idol. Hey, Johnny, how you doing?
Hey, man.
You're from New Zealand, is that correct, Johnny?
Yeah, I am from New Zealand, yeah. So that's where I started wrestling, and now I'm wrestling in Mexico. So, yeah, it's going pretty well, man.
Yeah, good deal. So tell me about the wrestling scene in New Zealand then. When you're a kid, what are you watching in New Zealand? What are you getting on the TV and stuff to watch there?
So when we're watching some on TV, I first started watching WCW because that's all we had. We didn't have WWF or anything like that. So
okay, so then
I watched WCW, and then eventually we got WWE.
Okay, and what's the local scene like? As a kid, did you go to local shows? Are there a lot of local promotions around there for you to go to, or?
Not really, because New Zealand's pretty small. I was living in the capital of New Zealand, Wellington, and there was one promotion there. So I went there and watched them when I was probably about 13 or 14, and I actually started wrestling training at 13. So
okay,
yeah.
With that promotion?
Yeah, with that promotion, yeah. So they had like a junior division, you know.
Okay. So you train and you wrestle in New Zealand.
So yeah.
And you wrestle in New Zealand. So how do you transition from New Zealand to Mexico? How did you wind up making your way over to Mexico?
Well, so yeah, I was wrestling in New Zealand, and then the first place I actually went to Japan, and I had a tryout with New Japan. So because I've got a friend in New Japan, so he helped me get a tryout there. And that obviously didn't work out, so I came back to New Zealand, and then I started saving money again, and I was like, okay, where am I going to go next? And I just started to go to Mexico, so yeah.
Okay, so you just moved to Mexico, didn't really have any contacts, just went, started hitting up?
No, I literally walked off the plane, I didn't know one person. I walked off, and I was just like, okay, I'll just try and get into some indie companies, and I started working independent companies here for about 4 or 5 months, and I was training at Arena Mexico at the same time. And then eventually they kind of noticed me, and then they like said they'd buy me a work visa and stuff. So yeah, it just worked out from there, really. CMLL.
Yeah. So how? Let's talk culturally. How was that transition coming from New Zealand to Mexico? Do you speak Spanish, or are you fluent, or?
No, I literally didn't speak any Spanish when I walked off the plane. Man, it's been pretty hard actually. I mean, now I've been here 10 months, and like my Spanish is definitely better, but I mean, I'm nowhere near fluent or anything, but yeah, like it was pretty big culture shock. But I mean, when I went to Japan, it was different as well. So and I kind of like that. I like I wanted more life experience, not just wrestling experience as well, just life experience as well. So that's cool.
Right. So talk to me. Tell me about. I'm a huge lucha fan. But tell me about the lucha culture. How the fans are so passionate, and then the markets outside the arenas, and tell me what all that's like as you coming in as an outsider.
It's pretty cool because, like you said, outside of the arenas, there's a lot of stalls, a lot of stands selling masks, figures, mini wrestling rings, anything you can pretty much think of really to do with lucha. So, and then also the fans are just crazy, man. They're always drunk and they're just always rowdy.
And I noticed recently you had said that you discovered. I'm not sure when this was, but you discovered your first Johnny Idol bootleg figure. Did that happen?
Yeah.
Were you just out there browsing, shopping, and saw it?
No, well, actually, my friend actually was out there browsing and saw it, and then he bought it for me, and then I gave him the money for it. So,
so that's got to be pretty cool.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. But I didn't really know about it. I got to the arena. Yeah. I got to the arena, and my friend was like, "Oh, Johnny, come here!" And he had he pulled it out of his bag, and I was like, "Holy crap, that's awesome!" So yeah, that's cool, really cool.
So you you're, in my eyes, living in America, the first big exposure we saw of Johnny Idol. I mean, I follow closely, so I've seen was at the Grand Prix.
Yeah.
And you teamed with Kushida and some of those Marco Elgin, right, and all those guys. What was that experience like? Because that's some guys, that's some names that you're teaming with. So.
Yeah, that was pretty cool for me, man. I mean, before that, I was only ever wrestling independent or wrestling in New Zealand, so I'd never really had any big matches or anything like that. And I mean, wrestling in Arena Mexico, and it's like it's sold out. You know what I mean? So that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah.
So
because I'm only 23 years old,
right.
so, and I was getting the team with those guys that have got like 10, 12, 15 years experience. So that was pretty cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I mean, I'm guessing that's one of your highlights. Who else have you faced so far in CMLL that you are saying, wow, this is kind of like a dream to be in the ring with this guy?
Definitely Negro Cassis.
Oh yeah, very cool.
So, yeah, Ultimo Guerrero. Pretty much most of the main guys here in CMLL. So.
Right. So how was it in adjustment? Because obviously in Mexico there's a lot of trios matches, Atomicos matches. Was it difficult for you to adjust to that, going from what I consider probably primarily a singles matches to wrestling more of these trios type styles? Is that a hard adjustment for you to?
When I first came, it was kind of it was definitely different because in New Zealand we kind of had the American style, so we kind of we do a lot of the WWF sort of stuff and like stuff. But when I came here, it was kind of different. Definitely trying to adjust to the trios, but now I've definitely got a grip of it. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's just normal because every single week I'm wrestling 3-4 times a week, and it's always 6-man tags. So yeah, right. It's definitely getting better now. So.
Right. So as you look forward, you've not yet branched into the United States, correct? You've not made any appearances in the U.S.
No, I've actually been to the States one time. That was just to get my work visa for CMLL, and that was it. So I've never actually wrestled in the United States. No, I really want to, but yeah, okay. Eventually I will, I think. But yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I was going to ask. So is that a goal of yours? Is to make your way into the U.S.?
Definitely.
What?
Definitely, yeah.
Is there certain? I mean, are you open for anywhere? Are there certain things you'd like? I mean, if you had a dream checklist of where you'd like to start working in the U.S., have you got anything in mind, or?
Obviously WWE is the ultimate goal, but below WWE, I like to wrestle in ROH, and now that CMLL has the relationship with ROH, I think that's pretty possible, you know.
Right, that's actually kind of where I was trying to lead. I know there's that working agreement with them.
It could happen.
Yeah, right, with them and New Japan.
Exactly. So
hopefully maybe there'll be some talent exchange there where you'll get some of those opportunities to make some of those appearances.
Yeah, I hope so, man. I hope it's I get to go to Japan as well. That's definitely a goal of mine because I tried out with New Japan, so it'd be really cool to actually get a match, with New Japan. So that's definitely a big goal of mine.
Right. So right now, obviously, you're focused on CMLL in Mexico. That's your company. Who else are you looking at that maybe as we go into 2017? What are some goals you have and some guys you'd like to face that you haven't had a chance to yet?
Well, I really want to have a singles match here in Mexico because I've had one singles match that was on the independents, and that's in 10 months. So the rest of them have been tag matches or triple threats or four-ways. So I really want to have a singles match, and I really want to have a singles match with Sam Adonis at Arena Mexico. That'd be really cool because we've been feuding for quite a while now, so I think we need to blow that off, and I think Arena Mexico is the place to do it. So that'd be cool, man.
Right. So did Sam start around the same time as you? Do you guys kind of train together there, right? Is that correct?
Well, I came here in January. He came here in June. So yeah, we met when he first arrived in Mexico. But he started training, and like within a week he was signed to CMLL. You know what I mean? So
right.
Yeah. So a little bit different in time, but yeah. I feel like I've known him for about 5 years now. So.
Well, right, because I suspect, both of you being, foreigners in Mexico, common language, there had to be a lot for you guys that instantly bond around, right?
Yeah, exactly. Because there's not a lot of foreigners. There's me, there's Sam Adonis, there's Marco Corleone, and then that's pretty much about it, really.
Right. Has Marco helped you guys out? Is he taking you under his wing? Because he's been there for many years. Is he helping you guys out, or? Yeah,
definitely. He's giving us a lot of advice of what to do in the ring and all that kind of stuff, and just advice around Mexico. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because it's pretty dangerous sometimes, but yeah, you gotta keep your eyes out.
Yeah. So you talked about those life experiences. So what is that away from the wrestling, living in Mexico? What is that like for you? Just the day-to-day life and the everyday things. Has it been a total readjustment?
Yeah, definitely. I've been through some pretty dangerous situations, actually. Like, I've been robbed in Mexico.
Oh, no.
Yeah, but, it's pretty fun, though, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, I just kind of look at it as another story for a book down the road or something, you know what I mean? So,
yeah, right.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. So,
Right.
But life in Mexico is it's pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty similar to what I was doing in New Zealand. I go to the gym every single day, and then I I hang out with my friends, and yeah, it's pretty fun. Wrestling training. So.
Yep. So when you're watching wrestling as a fan, not as a competitor, what kind of guys out there today are you watching that you enjoy watching? Maybe in Mexico, in the U.S., wherever it might be. Who do you enjoy watching?
I've always enjoyed watching Chris Jericho. He's always been like an idol of mine.
Right.
I've watched a lot of his his younger days and stuff, but there's a lot of guys, man. Japan, Mexico. In Japan, I like Tanahashi. All those kind of guys. I like a lot of wrestlers as a fan. Like now that I'm a wrestler, I kind of appreciate everybody. You know what I mean? It's not like I don't dislike anyone, or I don't. It's just I like everybody kind of thing. So I look at everybody for different parts of different things I can incorporate in my matches and stuff like that. So
right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, very good. Do you find yourself, so when you trained in New Zealand, is the New Zealand style similar to the kind of some of that British, the catch style wrestling that you were trained in, or is it more the American type style? No,
definitely more American. Definitely more American. Not really too much technical wrestling in New Zealand. It's just, it's pretty much all American based. So,
So how did you take to this the more high flying lucha type style? Was that just your size kind of lended to that, or?
Well, I'm a lot bigger than most. 6'1", about 6'1", yeah.
Okay.
And about 210 pounds. So a lot bigger than a lot of guys here. But I kind of did a little bit in New Zealand. There's a lot of big guys there, so I was doing a little bit of high flying anyway. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I kind of just added to it since I got to Mexico. But yeah, it was pretty easy to adjust to because I was already doing it in New Zealand. So yeah.
Right. So is that
when I arrived in CMLL, I was technico. So
right.
Technicos generally fly around a lot more.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was pretty much used to it.
Yeah. Is that kind of as you travel and you go to these different places? Is that what you try to do? You try to take some of those different styles that you're seeing and facing and maybe blended it into your own and kind of a hybrid style? Do you catch yourself doing that?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I want to do because I want to go to all these other places, like Europe and Japan, and try to take little parts of those countries' styles and just mix them to my own. And then eventually, when I get to WWE, like if I get to WWE, you know what I mean? I want to do the full package. So
right. Did you? You sound obviously like you're a fan of New Japan and that Japan style. Did you get to talk to Kushida much when you did the Grand Prix thing, or was it just so chaotic?
Actually, I lived with him while I was here, so that was pretty cool. I got to talk to him, get some advice, and I also I had a tag match myself, Kushida, and Atlantis. We tagged one night as well, so that was fun.
Oh.
So yeah, he was a really good guy.
Oh, that had to be a cool thing then, to be able to know a good experience. So.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep. Well, hey, thanks for joining us, Johnny. Why don't let everybody know where can they find you on social media if they want to follow you and keep.
Yeah, Facebook is just Johnny Idol. Twitter is Johnny Idol PM, and Instagram is Johnny Idol PM as well. So yeah.
All right, cool. So look up Johnny. Check him out on CMLL. You can find them on YouTube. You can see all his stuff. Hey, Johnny, thanks for joining us. And
thanks for having me, man. I was lost.
Yeah, and we'll catch up with you maybe down the road and see how you're progressing, and then hopefully we'll see you here in the U.S. soon. So.
I hope so, dude.
Check out Geek Stew for all your geek and wrestling news and podcasts. Visit geek-stew.com.
Welcome back to the Dave Dynasty Show. That was our interview with Johnny Idol.
See, this one was a fun one. Can I butt in just for a second?
You already have.
Yeah.
Why do you ask permission after the fact? What is the point of that?
Just
that is like the most ass-backwards manners I've ever seen in my life.
That's how I am. I'm ass-backwards.
You interrupt. Yes, you are. You interrupt and then say, oh, may I interrupt? Well, you already did, douchebag.
All right, anyways. So this interview is interesting because we had to we spent like an hour trying to get a hold of him just to begin with.
We did.
Which was fun. It was fun. I mean, don't get me wrong.
So special thank you to Johnny for being very patient with us because we were having to Skype him in and so that we could record the audio. And if you'll hear the interview did have some shaky technical parts were the call, but that it was an international Skype call, so it kind of skipped in and out a couple times, but you get the gist of the interview and what he had to say, and
you get the gist of it.
No, I mean it didn't really miss a whole lot of
exactly.
points, but I mean it's interesting because we like to highlight young guys on the show, Sometimes that leans towards the guys we know here in the Midwest, but it's cool to talk to a guy who's 23 years old, decided to pack up, leave New Zealand, go to Japan for a tryout, and then go to Mexico and just decided that's where I'm going to live and I'm going to make it. And then here he is now, wrestling for CMLL, the oldest wrestling organization in the world. So it's very, very cool. He's got his eyes on the United States. So anyway,
hopefully we see him over here.
Yeah. So go online, check out Johnny on all his. He gave all of his social medias, but go to YouTube and check out CMLL and some of his stuff. And you need to remember the name. He's someday you'll hear more of Johnny Idol, or
Definitely.
perhaps whatever the company he goes to decides to call him.
Yeah, I was gonna say, he goes to WWE, probably something different.
Yeah. So it was interesting how he talked about, like when he was home in New Zealand, they didn't really get WWE. It was like WCW at the day.
Yeah,
it's funny in some of these countries you just assume that WWE's everywhere, but sometimes it's just not. It just depends on their television affiliates and agreements. It's weird.
Yeah, I was gonna say sometimes with these places too, like they don't get immediate versions of what wrestling is going on here. So like they get like delayed versions, so that the WCW probably could have been still alive. Because he said he's 23. 23. And he's only 2 years older than I am.
Right.
So
and he's accomplished so much more with his life.
Yikes.
But again, that's what we do. We support young guys, and how many of us out there have that kind of dedication, that kind of passion to just say, you know what, I'm just going to do it and go and take that risk. That's what it's all about. If you're going to do something and feel like this, you got to lay it out there. You got to take a risk, and it works sometimes. If it doesn't, that's all right. There's no shame in failing. Mm-hmm. You learn from it. You just don't make that mistake next time.
Oh yeah.
You just don't give up. So, speaking of opportunities and so on, that's a good topic of discussion for the Ted Petty Invitational, because
it absolutely is.
We attended that show last night. IWA Mid-South, Jeffersonville, Indiana. Very good show. Very fun. A lot of high-quality matches, but the tournament eventually won by Chris Hero.
Yes, Chris Hero.
Great, but
he's my hero. He's your hero. He's Chris Hero.
Yeah. So, but lots of opportunities for young guys. Cole Radrick had a phenomenal match. Sammy Callahan.
Match of the night.
Showed, took advantage of an opportunity. Jonathan Wolf had a great match with Chris Hero.
Got his ass whooped.
But he did. So did Corey Storm. Youngest guy ever in a TPI, 15 years old. But these guys went out there, showed what they could do, showed what they can hang, show how accomplished they already are at their ages.
Yeah.
And shown that, hey, they're the future. They are. And that's it's one of the reasons, that the Midwest Wrestling is looking good for guys like that. Not to mention the guys a little older than them, but there's some good guys out there that are willing to, like we talked about with Johnny Idol, are willing to take those risks, willing to lay it all out there, take their opportunities, run with it, and just see what they can do with it.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And that's great. So it was a good tournament. It's a fun event. They had a whole weekend of events that were great, but yeah, it was good. It was good to see Chris Hero had 3 good matches. Was clearly the backbone of the event, because Chris Hero's great. He's a great worker. Has a season, knows what he's doing, but man, he makes everybody else look so good.
Yeah, he sells everything like $1 million.
He does. He makes everybody look good. He's great. Yeah, the final with him and John Wayne Murdoch was brutal. It was. God, it was like you could literally hear the headbutts, because they were, God, it was kind of making me a little ill. But they weren't pulling. It was a hard hit thing.
I remember because they were actually on the turnbuckle closest to where we were.
Yeah, and
for that last.
You could hear it.
Yeah,
it was
for that last little bump there.
And even better to know that John Wayne Murdoch had a bum knee, had a hurt knee, was going through it still. That's the way these guys are, man. You got an opportunity. Again, it's all the world. I hate to beat that. That's one of my big things. And one of the things I like to help with a podcast like this is these guys that help these young guys. And Murdoch had this opportunity to be in this thing, this TPI. It's a big thing. And he had a hurt knee. He could have called it in and said, "You know what, I can't do it." But he's not going to give up this chance, what he had. And look what happened. I mean, he ended up in the finals. He might be feeling it today, but man, he turned heads. He made people notice. So
he had a hell of a match with Chris Hero, and people will remember that.
So it was a fun event. So If you missed it, shame on you.
I was rooting for Cole Rowdy the whole time, though. Cole's my boy.
Yeah, but that's all right. He did all right for himself.
He did. He did a very good job.
Yeah.
I mean, this was
I
he had a
agree.
rematch
Match of the night. I think it was him and Sammy tore it up. It was a great match. But if you weren't in the area or you couldn't make it, that's hey, support IWA Mid-South, Smart Mark Video.
Yeah.
Get the DVD. I do believe they do the digital downloads and all that, so support them.
Missed a hell of a deal last night. 3 for 3, man.
Yeah,
man.
Yeah, they kept plugging that.
Yeah,
They
kept
buy
plugging
3
that.
DVDs. That's independent wrestling, right?
No, independent wrestling is the fans. Should
Because
we even talk about
because
those
we started
people?
the hashtag last night. Things you hear at an indie wrestling show.
Oh my lord!
So hey, everybody that's listening, you go to all these shows all the time, every weekend, whenever you go, and all of you you're either saying or hearing these weird things, these ironic things that, out of context, especially, seem so odd.
Oh, yeah.
And you don't hear them anywhere outside of anything. You don't hear this at like theater or whatever or a concert.
or sitting at McDonald's or something.
So when you're at these events and you hear this, pull out the phones, go on Twitter, share this with the world, use the hashtag things you hear at an indie wrestling event. And for the record, indie is INDIE because that is what the shortened version of independent is. INDY is short for Indianapolis.
Yeah, ND, not
So
Indianapolis.
So spell it right. Anyway. Yes, we started. I don't know if we started the hash. I don't. Maybe somebody's done this before, but because there were a couple of doozies that we just had to share, and it all began with the most. And I don't even remember who it was being said to or what. I don't even remember.
I remember what was going on.
Okay, well then you'll give it context after I say the line.
Yeah.
Somebody shouted and said that you look like Helen Keller trying to masturbate.
Honestly, when I heard it, I was sitting there and I was a little shocked at first. I was like, what in the hell?
But that is an incredible visual. And it was just so funny. Again, out of context of the event, people will be like, what the hell? What is that? That's kind of harsh. That's not harsh. It wasn't meant harsh.
Yeah.
It's not that. It's just, it was a character. So I don't remember who said this.
So,
was it the manager?
No, it was this guy in front of us, and I know his name, but I'm not going to say his name.
Right, okay, so yeah, he had a lot of lines. He was hella good ones, but this was...
I know every single line that night came from this guy. Every single line.
We're not going to say a couple of the others, because a couple of the others are a little cruder.
No, one of them said at him, but...
You can, that's right. But if you want to read those, you can check out at Pint Size Beast on Twitter. I shared those. But anyway, the Helen Keller one, so he said it.
He said it to this guy because him and this guy were shouting back and forth about football. He was watching football during the entire event.
Well, he was listening.
Listening.
And listening and watching the score updates. The other guy was watching it, and I guess it was a Kentucky-Georgia game, and one was a Kentucky fan, one was a Georgia fan, and they were literally kind of on opposite, not opposite sides, but
they get different
adjacent sections, and were shouting back and forth about this while the show was going on.
Well, here's the funny part: the one guy, because the guy in front of us, we'll call him T, was yelling at the other guy, Q. Call him Q, and they were going back and forth. But T said, "You look like Helen Keller is trying to masturbate." When Q put his hands up there and started waving them. Supposed to be playing on a joke there.
Very funny line. Again, let's make this hashtag something because I love it. Because that's the best part is some of the stuff you hear.
Yeah, seriously, I would never imagine to hear these things anywhere else.
Every show you go to, you hear that was awesome and you deserve it and all those. Those have actually become.
Shit.
Some of those have become so cliche anymore because literally that was awesome chance that. Oh my gosh, that happens for everything now. It's like it's not really for the great moments anymore. But anyway, some of these lines just come out of nowhere.
Yeah, literally, I don't even know where that came from. Out of left field, really, though.
So weird. Like the time we went to the Ring of Honor show, and they kept singing "Happy Birthday" to Mike Bennett, and they threw a "Happy Birthday" streamer at him.
But it was a roll of toilet paper.
Well, that was a different thing. But somebody threw a "Happy Birthday" streamer, and he turned around and says, "It's not even my birthday." So there was no idea why they were doing.
They were just doing it,
It was so weird.
Or when those people are yelling at what's her name,
Maria.
Yeah, Maria.
Oh, Maria!
Look at me, Maria.
But anyway, the stuff you hear. So anyway, yes, use that hashtag. Things you hear at any wrestling show. Share those. Tag us in it if you want to, because I want to read them. I want to see what else everybody's hearing out there. This could be the indie wrestling version of People of Walmart.
No, seriously though.
This is great.
Or
we don't need pictures. We're not here to embarrass people. We don't want names. We don't want pictures. You know, we don't want videos. I'm not here to call anybody out or embarrass anybody. I just want to hear what was said.
Exactly. We just want to hear funny stuff.
And if you want to give some context, if it helps make it funnier, that's okay. But if not, the line's good enough. Let's just hear these lines. And let's just have fun with it. That's what it's all about. Any wrestling, right?
Having
It's
fun.
supposed to be fun. Speaking of fun, we're going to take a little break. And we're coming back with Mance Warner, your favorite wrestler.
Yeah. My favorite wrestler of all time. Illiteracy, lariats, and light beer.
Gather round for life lessons from professional wrestling's own Mance Warner. It's Warner Wisdom.
Okay, people, here we go. We're back at it one more time. It's almost, let me look right here. 2:55 a.m. It's almost 3 in the morning. An old big doggy here, Mance Warner, the king of big dog style. Back at it with another one of these Warner's Wisdoms for you. Now, today going to be a little different because it's November, whatever it is now. I don't know what day it is, but we coming up on the election. So, we're going to do a little political talk here. Now, who I'm voting for may surprise you a little bit right here. It may surprise you. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. I don't know. But let's get right into it. Well, first, let me go back before I drop this wisdom on y'all. Let me tell you all about my night. I went out, paid me a light bill, paid me a TV bill, picked up a W at a night, got me a win with big old lariat, had me some nice light beers. If anybody out there is making their own light beers and a new company coming up wants to send me some free samples, I'll give you a review on your light beer. As long as it's light beer and I can drink it, it's probably going to be pretty good. And I tell you all about it on here on one of these podcasts. Now, like I was saying, I was going to get into this whole political realm from old Mance Warner, the king of big dog style. Now, it going to be Hillary or it going to be old Donald Trump. Like I said, this may surprise you who I'm going to vote for. Now, who I'm going to vote for? Jesus Christ Almighty, none of them. None of these dumb sons of bitches. I think they're both fools. I'm from Bucksport, Tennessee, baby. You come down to where I'm from and try to tell me, my cousins, my family, anybody in my town what we can or cannot do. You're going to have some guns at you. You're going to have some knives at you. You're going to have a whole, good Lord, puckle of lariats coming at your dog, man. So like I said, neither of them. I don't think we need anybody in this country to tell us what we can or cannot do, man. I don't think we need a president, honestly. In my opinion, my wisdom, Warner's wisdom, I think we could be all right just on our own, doing our own thing out here, brother. That's just my take on it. At the end of the day, you people are going to vote and do your own thing. This is his Warner wisdom right here. This is my take on it. I don't think we need anybody to be telling us what we can or cannot do. Down in Bucksport, Tennessee, man, we ain't got to worry about nobody. In the White House, ain't nobody making no decision that has no effect on us. We got our beer for after work. We got our vehicles. We got our wrestling, baby. That's all we need. Nah. Y'all are going to say, well, you got to vote for somebody, Mancer. Mancer, you got to vote for somebody, baby. Who you going to vote for? I already told you ain't going to be those two. So if I got to pick somebody, it's going to come down to one or two. And I'll just tell you, I'll give you two choices right here. For me, for Mancer. Number one, Bill Watts. I'm going to write in Bill Watts' name on there if I go up there to vote. Or number two, I'm going to throw in there Jack Tunney. Jack Tunney, baby. I'm going to throw our Jack Tunney on there. And he going to be the new leader of the free world. Even though we don't need one. I think we can do a little bit better. We just all came together and do what we got to do. Light beers for everybody, man. Well, there's something. Vote for me. Throw Mance Warner up in there, baby. Throw Mancer in the name into the hat. Now, who else could I throw in there, man? There got to be somebody else. Who else could y'all vote for? Oh, no. Mance Warner, man, I think that's a good pick. Old Mancer, Jack Tunney, or Bill Watts. That's it, man. Warner's wisdom this week. Political. I got political on y'all. Until next time, go do your voting. Put old Mancer on there. Mance Warner for president, baby. Lariats, light beer, and whatever else. Y'all can throw one on there. Make a t-shirt. Whatever it is. Warner's wisdom, baby.
All right. And that was Mance Warner with Warner's Wisdoms, who apparently has thrown his hat into the presidential race.
Into that unforgiving ring of politics.
I don't know if it's a ring or if you just call it a pit. It's like a fight pit.
It's like Underground Fight Club, but
but yes, I wish we could have the same philosophy where we don't speak about Fight Club.
Yeah, right. Just hang out, Don't do anything. Just don't speak about it.
I'm not quite sure Mance Warner's old enough to be considered for a presidential nominee, but
I know you have to be 35. Is he 30? He's not 35.
No.
He's probably in his 20s still, ain't he?
Probably, but apparently he's on the platform of light beers for everyone.
I hate light beers, and I don't.
Lariats for you. I don't like light beers either, so I guess I'll take the lariat.
Yeah, you can take a lariat, or you can take illiteracy.
That's your words, not his.
Hey, my words, his words, our words.
You know what they said? He said, down home in Bucksnort, Tennessee, you get a gun for that.
You get a gun for that. Is that like his new that should be his political stance? You get a gun for that.
It's like a Happy Meal toy.
You're right. A gun with every meal.
Don't we already kind of have that policy? I feel like I don't know. Anyway, it's not a political podcast. We're not going to do that. So yeah, Warner's Wisdoms. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? Mance Warner is talking politics, sort of.
Yeah, and so when he started talking, I was like, oh, this should be good.
I'm just impressed that he knew who was actually running for president.
I was very impressed about that.
Although he would prefer Bill Watts or Jack Tunney. I believe Jack Tunney's dead, but well,
maybe
still might be a better candidate.
Yeah, right. A corpse on the ground, man.
Anyway, let's go to our listener questions that were submitted. We picked 3. Throw them at me, Ike. Let's see what happens.
Numero uno, your Mount Rushmore of indie wrestling.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite questions I think I've ever gotten. Very cool. So this is essentially, I'm just going to go with 4 guys. 4 guys that, to me, epitomize the best ever of indie wrestling. And it's not necessarily even a worker thing for me. I'll tell my reasons, okay?
Okay.
We'll start. I'm going to start with first with kind of a unique but a very old school pick, even before really what current independent wrestling is. My first guy would be Bruiser Brody. And the reason I say Bruiser Brody, he never really signed a contract, an exclusive deal. He was this freelance guy.
Yeah.
Independent wrestling wasn't independent wrestling back then. It was territories and whatever else. But
don't go in the shower.
Bruiser, yeah, that joke was made last night.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, Google it. Anyway, Bruiser Brody did what he wanted to do. He went to wherever he wanted to go, whoever paid him the most money, traveled around, did his own thing, even if it meant no selling for Lex Luger in a cage mask because he just didn't want to. So to me, he laid down way back this foundation of what it could be to be an independent contractor. He was, to me, the ultimate epitome of that. So that's my first guy. My second guy is kind of the guy to me that took that in the 90s, early 90s, really ran with it, and was kind of the king of the indies. It was all over, and that's Reckless Youth. Great. If you don't know who Reckless Youth is, shame on you. Look him up. Watch him. He's great. He was great.
Even I know. I'm pretty sure I knew who that is.
So, but he did it again. Did his own thing. Traveled around. One of the first guys. My third pick would be another guy who, around that time, and he later achieved some success, but he, again, was one of those first guys that really got out there, kind of made a national name for himself, even though he was not part of one of a major organization, and that's Christopher Daniels.
Yep.
I still did so much before he even got to TNA, and people knew who he was. I mean, because he made a national name for himself, had these spectacular matches, competed in tournaments like TPI and all these events, and wrestled all these guys, and did it before guys were really doing it. You kind of stayed in your area, and he wasn't. He was going all over. So, and my fourth guy, which some people might not agree with, and it's not necessarily it's nothing to do with the worker standpoint. It's more the business standpoint. I have to say Colt Cabana.
It's
just
Colt
purely
Cabana.
because he has taken independent wrestling to a new level of what you can accomplish by thinking outside the box and focusing on merchandising and podcasting and doing other things and stand-up comedy. And you see all these guys doing this now, supplementing their incomes while still being through the avenue they love. So based on a business standpoint and a making yourself a brand without a machine behind you, that's why I pick him. So that's my four. Bruiser Brody, Reckless Youth, Christopher Daniels, Colt Cabana. If you don't agree, I don't care. That's my four.
You don't agree.
But I would be curious on hearing other people's four. I love this. I love this question. It's great. And I love indie wrestling. I love talking indie wrestling. So if you have another four, or you want to, you don't tell me you agree or disagree. I don't care if you agree with me or not. I want to hear what you want, what you think. Who would be? There's no freaking Mount Rushmore that we're going to do. It's not like we're voting on it as a committee to who's actually going on. I want to hear your opinions, though, so tweet it to me. Or Facebook it to me. Let's hear who you guys have, because it's great. And there could be somebody from a totally different part of the world or country who somebody stands out for them because of that area.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It's not the same everywhere, man.
Not necessarily, but I thought of it. Like I said, I thought of it a little differently. I thought of this guy that laid the foundation before, way back, kind of cleared the forest.
Yeah.
And then Youth and Daniels, who kind of started paving that road, and Cabana, who freaking turned the road into a highway, an interstate to me. So I thought of it kind of differently, not just the best workers. That'd be to me, if I was doing, I'm not going to name them, but of those four, I mean, maybe only Christopher Daniels might still have a shot as best workers for me.
Yeah.
Maybe Rickles, but I don't know. But so I just approached it that way. That's the way I approached it, because it's I think those four are monumental in independent wrestling, and there's going to be a whole slew of guys that 10, 20 years from now will change that discussion altogether. So it always is. It's a great thing about it. Anyway, yeah.
Well, second question. You ready for your second question?
Sure.
What are you guys' thoughts on the Bullet Club member having all the gold for every major wrestling promotion? Is this bigger than the NWO and DX takeover, aka the Click? Sorry, that was kind of weird.
So I think what the question is asking is, what do we think that the fact that there's Bullet Club all over, right? There's the club in WWE.
Yeah.
There's club in New Japan and in Mexico and wherever else. I mean, these different groups, and they're successful everywhere. And I think it's okay. I think it's cool. I don't think the success is because of the Bullet Club. Yeah. I think it's because of the people that are in it in those various areas. But the people that are in it, these various areas, they amongst the areas kind of have, they know each other. So it's like, it is kind of their group. This is kind of the new Clique. And again, if you don't know what the Clique is, you need to Google some. But, the Clique was essentially Kevin Nash, Scott Hall, Shawn Michaels, Sean Waltman, who were this thing, even though they weren't officially on camera at that time, right? Because it was different. But they kind of broke that curtain a little bit on Nash and Hall's final night when they were leaving, and all four of them got in the ring, hugged, said goodbye, did all those things, and there were heels and faces, and it was weird. People had never, you didn't do that.
Yeah.
But then it started, unveil that they were these buddies that kind of controlled a lot of the power behind the scenes and used it, whatever. And, I'm not going to say it's right or wrong or whatever else it is, but it's just the way it was. Well, you see that now, except it's out there more often. You do see these guys on Twitter, speaking of, you get Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows, who are WWE wrestlers, saying, oh, yeah, the club's at it. The Young Bucks won the Ring of Honor tag titles, acknowledging that they're all over the place, that they're friends, and that there's nothing wrong with that.
Oh yeah.
That is a result of modern social media and news coverage. It's easier to break that fourth wall and show that, and they're not. There's no harm there. They're not doing anything wrong. And you know, and to me, the Bullet Club, yeah, it's a lot like the NWO, but the NWO was a ripoff of Japan. You know, the same concept in Japan. That's not an original ideal. Eric Bischoff will tell you that.
Yeah.
And that's okay because that's what wrestling borrows from things, and you change it and you grow it and whatever else. So, yeah, I mean, to me, I enjoy the Bullet Club. It's different of how it was, how exciting it was, like when AJ first joined or when Prince Devitt started it. I like the Ring of Honor version because I'm an Adam Cole fan.
Yeah.
So I think it's cool with him and the Bucks and all that. But I think, yeah, it's good. It brings a lot of attention to it, to wrestling, from guys that maybe wouldn't care some, but it's cool to them and they like it. And if certain people like it because, hey, it reminds me of the NWO or DX, and that's cool. I like those outlaw group. That's fine. Mm-hmm. There's something for everybody out there, and I'm cool with that. Whatever is good for wrestling.
My thing was that like with the Bullet Club, because like this was kind of like for me was the people, because when I grew up, obviously there was DX for the second round after they had kind of split up for a while,
which is kind of an extension of the Clique.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah.
So that's what I kind of grew up with. Of course, I went back and watched like NWO and stuff like that, and the old DX, and which is awesome. But I definitely think that the Bullet Club was more something I can relate to now. Now that I'm a little bit older, I can see it a little more. And these are wrestlers that I've actually seen live. I've seen AJ Styles live. I don't think I've seen not Doc Gallows, or Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows. God, man, could not remember that. But then I've seen like other people like at Winter Warriors tour. You had Adam Cole and the Young Bucks, and then I forget the other two guys' names.
Adam Page.
Not Adam Page. The face colored.
Oh yeah, Tama Tonga.
Yeah, Tama Tonga and
the Gorillas of War.
Yeah, I knew there's some Gorillas or something, but then I got to see them wrestle, and it was really awesome. And that was also the night that Adam Cole joined the Bullet Club when we saw them at Winter Warriors. So that was something that was really cool for me because for me, the Bullet Club, that's kind of my NWO in my eyes.
But the good thing is, they're clearly inspired, by these other groups, and they don't make excuses.
Exactly.
For it. They do the Too Sweet, which started in they'll tell you, hey, it's because those guys were cool when I was a kid, when I was young, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do what I like and what inspired me, and that's okay. That's all right. That's happened from the beginning of wrestling. You're inspired by somebody, you learn from somebody, you look up to somebody, you take it, you make it your own, and it evolves. And that's just the way wrestling is.
I like how Anderson
still moves and all that stuff. So
I like when Anderson and Gallo do the Too Sweet on Raw and stuff. I just think that's cool.
Yeah. All right. We have a third.
Last question. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Now that TNA/Impact has funding, what can save them from repeating mistakes?
Oh.
Don't hire Hulk Hogan.
TNA's back. Oh well, yeah. They've supposedly got funding from the parent company of the Fight Network. That I don't know if this is a permanent save or I don't know the extension of it, but Billy Corgan's gone. He's left them. He lost his lawsuit. Now there's apparently motives to get his money back, which Fight Network says it's going to happen. It's going to. I don't know. There's all that part of it, but that'll sort itself out, I would assume. But I'm not going to go into this question a lot now because this is again what I keep talking about. There's this a podcast I want to do where I just want to ramble about things I think can help steer wrestling in a more positive direction. Not that it's not in a positive direction, but they can really help give it a boost. And part of that is things I think TNA can do to reestablish themselves along with other companies. But in a nutshell, it's number one, they need to quit trying to compete with WWE. They're not a publicly traded multi-billion-dollar company. Don't try to compete with WWE. Just try to be a quality wrestling company. Let the growth come naturally. When the growth comes, don't go overboard and say, oh, now we're having some success, we've got some money. let's grab up these guys and see if we can't beat WWE. That doesn't work, and so they need to not do that. I've talked long how I think there needs to be this mindset of independent companies or non-WWE companies. Let's put it that way, knowing that helping each other benefits them all as a whole. And I'm not saying financially or anything like that. I'm just saying helping build stars, promote stars that are going to be used by all these companies. If you make them stars, then they're attractions just like WWE wrestlers.
Yeah.
And to me, TNA or Impact or whatever needs to have that same mindset of we're not WWE competitors, but we're going to try to be a very successful wrestling company. We're going to try to be an alternative to what WWE is.
Yeah. And
they need to see what is getting them attention and what is working. You know, the Hardys right now are very hot. So that's stay with that. You know, let them do their thing. You know, the guys they're bringing in that are successful, they need to look out there and see some of these guys that are drawing fans to these indie shows, which are drawing 300, 400, 500 people, and those people are and use them. Mm-hmm. And they don't have to build the company around them, but just bring them in for regular appearances, or just bring them in for the TV tapings. And you know, they need to find a place to do TV tapings. And maybe they need to also learn from Lucha Underground that, you know what, it doesn't have to be a huge arena. It just needs to be a cool-looking venue with a feel to it, and realize that what we're doing here is producing a TV show. It needs to look cool.
Yeah. So
finding a place that they can call home for these tapings, and it does not have to be a football stadium, you know. And they need to find their niche. They need to see why these other, that while they're having troubles, other independent companies are growing in what they're doing, and just realize they just need to be a step above those. They need to be like a Ring of Honor type group. That, hey, you know, Ring of Honor has pay-per-views. They have action figures. They have all these things. They have, you know, all these TV deals, and they're picking up more markets, and they're growing because they're not going out there and saying, okay, we're going to compete with WWE. They're going out there and saying, we're going to be a good company. We're going to put out a good product. We're going to be an alternative, and we're not going to be for everybody. Yeah. But we're going to be for the people that maybe look at WWE and say, I don't really like that. And it's kind of where I fall. It's not that I dislike WWE, because I don't, but it's hard for me to sit through just the bare minimum 5 hours of programming a week they put out there. Yeah. When there's maybe an hour and a half to 2 hours of that I enjoy, and people that I enjoy.
I agree.
So, I think they just need to go into it saying, we need to calm down. We've got a little bit of a foundation here. We've got a history. If it saves them, and they still have their video library, which I'm assuming they do, then, you know, that's a lot of profit. That's a lot of revenue there that can sustain them. And maybe they need to look into the streaming service and the video on demand more, moving away from the, you know, they're partnering with Fight Network, who has apps and whatever else. Well, maybe, hey, you know, let's expand that. Let's put more content up there, make a little money. Let's get our TV tapings down, put out some good shows. If it's going well, then maybe we'll look at doing some house shows and some touring. It's not a necessity right off the bat. Yeah. But maybe we'll grow to that. And just take those opportunities and not say, okay, well, I have to have a pay-per-view every month. And I do this because it's just not the business model that's going to work nowadays. Yeah. They can't try to be another WCW to compete, you know, and maybe they need to look at what really made them hot and got them started. And they had, you know, they were doing weekly pay-per-views when they started that was catching on and was an alternative, and people like that. And I'm not saying they should go back to weekly pay-per-views, but they can do things with the high pay-per-views and things like that. And I don't know. I think everybody, they need to thinking, okay, well, we're in the sports entertainment thing, so that means, well, there's WWE, so we got to strive to compete with them. Well, no, you don't. You have to look at, okay, there's WWE and there's their people, and there's all these other people that don't really maybe necessarily even pay a lot of attention to WWE, but they're going to Ring of Honor, and they're going to PWG, and they're watching Lucha Underground, and they're into that stuff. And there's obviously overlap between the two groups. And let's hit that market.
Yeah.
Let's be different, and let's strive to work to be the best in that group, because that's realistic. So.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I think with like a lot of these companies, they like to put it's like pedal to the metal. Let's try and catch up, but it's like you're never gonna catch up. They have a much better, figuratively, a much better horse than you do, just because they have money. And I think in a lot of ways, it's not a bad thing. I'm not dissing WWE like you said, but WWE is a fantastic company.
It's different.
Exactly.
It's like trying to say that all of a sudden RC Cola is going to say we're going to take down Coca-Cola.
Exactly.
It's not going to do that. You have to find your niche market and just be as successful as you can, and realize that you're not going to touch the kings.
RC Cola's for those rednecks in the back countries, and Coca-Cola's for everybody.
Oh, well, I don't know.
I like RC Cola. Sorry,
but that's what I think, and there's just so many wheels in the machine of WWE. It's hard to compete.
Yeah,
the advertising and the celebrity involvement, and TNA needs to realize that you don't snatch up every guy that's released from WWE because you think they were just on WWE TV. We got to have them. Some of them, are talented and you want to use them, but sometimes it's just not financially smart to snatch guys up,
because they're going to be wanting much more money than they're worth at that time. I mean, not saying they're not worth it, but you know what I mean. They
have to look out there and find the talent on the rise before they hit that.
Yeah,
and because they have like this thing now where they can sit there and like what Ring of Honor. If you watch the Ring of Honor shows and whatever, and you look at the beginning, and they do their little opening sequence right at the beginning, right? And it's a montage of clips of all these guys that have been in Ring of Honor who are now in WWE pretty much. And what that does is just project this, these guys are successful. We knew that before.
Yeah.
We saw that talent. We were the ones that helped snatch it. Remember, they were our guys before they were theirs.
Exactly.
And all that does is just show it has this mentality of, we're helping nurture talent. We're helping grow this talent, and we're getting them ready for that level. And that makes, we're doing the work. And that's a good thing. That's a good image to have. Because then you look like, well, hey, I don't know, would WWE be successful if these guys weren't doing that? That's what they need to utilize. I mean, they need to find guys that are on the rise, that are out there, that are, you look at them and they think, well, someday they're probably going to be in the WWE.
Yeah. And
start using them now. And let them have a good run. And if they go on and leave, that's okay. Wish them well. Say, hey, go make money. Go do it. Great. And then you can sit there and say, that was our guy.
Exactly.
That's like AJ Styles. They shouldn't be bitter at AJ Styles gone. They should say, AJ Styles was a TNA guy. We helped make him.
Yeah.
And helped get him notoriety. That's what gave him this platform. Good for him. Let him go make money.
I mean,
we couldn't pay him that much. Let him go. That's fine. Let him go do that. Good for him. I'm glad we helped.
They can say that about so many people too, like Christopher Daniels, Samoa Joe. Christopher Daniels maybe not so much because he moved over to Ring of Honor, but Samoa Joe, he eventually moved up too and stuff.
But and they just need. That's what they need to do. Go out and get these guys that are out there. Start using them. Have your do kind of like what Ring of Honor does. Have your core group that are under contracts.
Yeah.
That you kind of the backbone, and then these other guys just bring them in for TV appearances and whatnot. Maybe you're not going to make them your champ because they're not there all the time. That's okay.
Definitely. This is the first time I ever 100% agree with you on something.
Yeah. So see, I wanted to do this podcast about this one, but I just went over most of it right there. That was a really long answer to that question. So.
Well, sometimes the long answers are the best answers because sometimes it requires a little more explanation.
This is just one of those topics that I can talk about so much.
Definitely.
And not because I think I know. Or I'm right, because maybe I'm not, but I just have a very strong opinion on what it is.
Yeah.
Because, it's just, I don't know, it just makes sense to me. Maybe it's wrong, but anyway. So that's our final question, correct?
That is our final question.
We have talked long.
Long.
That's okay. And we always somehow end up back on TNA Impact. It's like that thing just creeps in. At least we didn't talk Goldberg this week. Oh, look, I just mentioned him.
Yeah, he's there.
God, did you see him on Raw? His stuff didn't look good.
I didn't see him on Raw.
It didn't look real great. I think he was a little nervous about that. It was that first.
What'd he do? Did he like?
Well,
No, he attacked Paul Heyman, didn't he?
Yeah, well, he did, but he went after whoever, Rusev, and he kind of slipped, and it just didn't look. It didn't look that great. But it's okay. It wasn't horrible. I don't guess, but it's his first thing. I don't know. I'm guessing there's a lot of nerves on his part. But,
yeah.
So hopefully that calms down, and hopefully I'm sure he is working hard, and God, somehow we've talked about him again.
Yeah, no. The only thing we need to talk about now is Alberto Del Rio. Oh shit.
I don't have any news on Alberto Del Rio.
No.
None that I know of. I don't know. He's still out there, I think, in Crazy Lane with Paige.
I think so.
Doing what they're doing. I don't know.
It's super insane.
I don't. He's opening a restaurant in San Antonio. I don't know when that's going to be finished, but I don't really have any news on him that I know of.
Del Rio's Tacos.
No. My gosh.
I thought he was opening a Mexican restaurant, wasn't he?
He is, but more
authentic.
You think that's all they eat? Tacos?
Well, no, it's all. I love tacos. It's like Del Taco, Del Rio Taco. Get it?
Oh my gosh.
I don't know. He might get sued for that if he did that. If you're listening to this, Alberto Del Rio, don't do it. Don't do it.
Just because Alberto Del Rio listens to our podcast.
Couple of good old boys from Indiana doing a podcast, and he's like, I'm listening to that guy.
Wait a minute. I heard they mentioned me. I'm going to talk. I'm going to listen.
Del Rio Tacos. That's genius.
Yeah.
Well,
he's not listening to us.
No, he's not.
Thankfully for you, he's not listening to us.
He might fly out here and kick my ass.
Yep, so that's our cue to end this. Ike's spinning out of control.
In a downward spiral.
And so we're going to have to cut it off right there. So thank you for joining us. Thank you for listening. And yeah, that's it. That's all I got. Anything else, Ike? Where can they find you on social media so that they can tell you how horrible you are?
You can go on my Twitter at Pint-Sized Beast. And you can look at the hashtag that we started. Things you hear at indie wrestling shows, and you can see the things that we heard from last night. We didn't say all of them here, so definitely check that out, because I think there's 4 altogether, or 3 or 4. Check them out. Yeah. You can see. Actually, you can also check out some things I said about the show, tag some people and stuff like that. But it's pretty cool stuff. I try to stay active on there, and I will respond to you if you tweet me.
And for all of our social media, mine and the shows, you can go to www.davedynasty.com. There's links for everything there, including links to all of our past podcasts and all the formats. Very easy to navigate and find what you're looking for.
I say it every week, but the people who listen to the show are really simple-minded. They're very, very easily distracted, and you have to sometimes hand feed them the links and stuff. I don't even know if they can use Google. That's how dumb they probably are. Can't even go into Google and type Dave Dynasty Show.
Okay.
Hey, I'm just telling it like it is.
A curious social experiment. Go on Google and look up Ike Isaacs and see what comes up.
They're probably not going to find anything other than my Twitter, maybe.
Illicit photos of you and farm animals.
What the hell?
Everybody's got a past.
Everybody's got a past. What happens if you pull it forward?
I don't want you to know anything you're pulling forward.
That sounds like a weird plot to a horror movie. Everybody's got a past. Now they got to pull it forward.
Coming soon from WWE Studios. Starring Kane.
No, I liked See No Evil. I like that.
Did you like See No Evil too?
I never watched it.
There's a reason why. I haven't seen. No, the first one I guess wasn't bad. I don't know. I don't know. Seeing the second one either.
But they made Ouija. That was pretty good. Karen Gillian.
That was Oculus.
Oh, goddamn. Yeah, Oculus. Sorry, Ouija, Oculus. I get them mixed up. But yeah, Oculus.
They made 50 incarnations of the Marine.
They did.
Currently starring The Miz.
Hey, man, John Cena was the best. Didn't they make a movie with Dolph Ziggler just recently, too?
Yeah. I don't know what it was.
No,
I haven't seen it.
I've not seen anything.
We're spinning out of control. We're going to stop. I don't want to talk about WWE Studios movies. We will see you next week. This is Dave Dynasty.
And this is Ike Isaacs.
This is the Dave Dynasty Show. Thank you.